Carolina Panthers host the New Orleans Saints on Sunday. Both teams looking to rebound from disappointing Week 1 losses. Carolina lost a road game to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Surprised a lot of people because many people had pegged Carolina as sort of a dark horse this year, maybe a threat to make the playoffs in the NFC. Tampa was expected to be last place in their division, a doormat type team. However, we know in the NFL every year, a lot of times you don't get what you expect. Expect the unexpected. That held true this past Sunday in Tampa. That Bucs defense really made this Carolina offense look extremely ordinary, and a lot of people had real high hopes for this Carolina offense heading into this season. Now, an offense that has high hopes, and deservedly so, is the New Orleans Saints unit. That has been one of the absolute best offenses in the league over the last couple of years. The Saints, shockingly, lost at home to the Washington Redskins in Week 1. I was as surprised at that result as anybody. I was on the Saints, laying 7 points, so it was a disappointing result on my end. Certainly had to be disappointing if you're a Saints fan or one of those Saints coaches, particularly if you're a Saints defensive coach. That defense was lit up by the Redskins offense that was being led by a rookie quarterback in his first career start. Redskins scoring 40 points in that game. Robert Griffin III looking like a seasoned Pro Bowler. Not going to get any easier for the Saints defense, this week, because Cam Newton and that Carolina offense, they're an explosive unit. They did not get it clicking last week in Tampa, so I'm sure they're going to be wanting to get things rolling and put up some points on the board this week at home against the New Orleans Saints. BETDAQ currently has the Saints installed as a 1-point favorite in this game. Total hasn't been released yet on BETDAQ. 51 currently the total out in Vegas. You can expect it to be in the same neighborhood in BETDAQ. This is a tricky game to me, a tricky game to bet because we really don't know what to expect from either team. Why? Because neither team was who we expected them to be in Week 1. It wasn't just that they lost, it was the way they lost. Carolina only putting up 10 points against a Tampa defense that was terrible last year, terrible. And so it's a little bit of a head scratcher. A lot of people criticizing Carolina offensive coordinator Rob Chudzinski for his play calling in that game, abandoning the running game. Now Jonathan Stewart, running back Jonathan Stewart, who platoons back there with D'Angelo Williams, he did miss that game. He is questionable for this game on Sunday against the Saints. So we'll keep you up to date with that as it goes along. Now, another problem for the Carolina Panthers offense, there was a problem all last season, but it wasn't talked about. It was a problem again on Sunday. It needs to be talked about and needs to be addressed, and that is Cam Newton. And I know you're scratching your head and you're saying, Cam Newton, this guy's one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. And true, he is. Cam Newton is also part of the reason why Carolina lost 10 games last year and lost in Week 1 to a team they should beat. Cam Newton throws interceptions. The guy throws the ball into coverage. He just does. 17 interceptions last year, and a lot of those, Steve Smith saved him. Steve Smith, wide receiver, one of the best in the league at going up there, taking the ball away from defenders. If it hadn't been for Steve Smith sort of bailing him out on a lot of those, he would have had over 20 interceptions. Cam Newton, a guy who just throws the ball into coverage. Does not mind throwing the ball into coverage. We saw it again last week in Tampa. In Tampa, the Bucs picked him off twice. So as good as Cam Newton is, and he has the skill set, the legs, and the arms to be a perennial Pro Bowler, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, he is not there yet. He is not a winning quarterback at this point of his career because he throws into coverage and turns the ball over too much. Will he do that again against New Orleans? Robert Griffin III made this Saints defense look like butter last week. The Redskins offense just went absolutely right through it. The Saints obviously have dealt with a lot of distractions throughout this offseason with head coach Sean Payton being suspended for the entire year, interim coach Joe Vitt being suspended for the first 6 games, middle linebacker Jonathan Vilma, one of the best players, was suspended for the season. His suspension since been rescinded. However, he did not play in Week 1. There's been a lot of turmoil around this Saints team, which, to tell you the truth, I thought would be a big reason why they would really rally together and get it together, and I thought they were going to blow out the Washington Redskins in Week 1. Obviously, I was way wrong, which makes me very cautious about this game. I did have the right idea about that Carolina-Tampa game. I thought Tampa might go down there and surprise them. That was one of my picks. That did happen. So I'm left here this week not really knowing what to think. If you put my feet to the fire, I am betting on the New Orleans Saints here. Remember, this team has been a cash register for bettors here recently. 9-2 against the spread in their last 11 games. I mean, hey, I know they did not cover in Week 1 against the Redskins. You still cannot overlook that in the 10 games prior to that, they had covered 9 out of 10. Also, the New Orleans Saints coming off a loss. The last 26 times they have lost, they are 19-7 against the spread the next game. So coming into the game here, 19-7 against the spread in this same situation the last 26 times. Also, you got to look at the fact in this series, and these teams play twice a year, every year, Carolina and New Orleans, the road team in this series, 17-4 against the spread the last 21 games. 17-4. Why is that? Who knows? It could be a variety of reasons. Maybe the home field advantage, being that these teams are division rivals and know each other intimately. Home field advantage does not make as much of a difference as it would in other games, and odds makers will still adjust that line. There's always a 3 or 4 point adjustment based on which team is playing at home. They'll still adjust that line based on who is the home team, and maybe that line just does not need to be adjusted in this series, obviously, if the road team 17-4 against the spread in the last 21 meetings. So what will we see this Sunday? I'm anxious to find out. I do lean towards New Orleans in this game, but based on what we saw last week out of the Saints, it would not stun me if the Carolina Panthers got it together and pulled out a home win.